Hey everyone, my name is JXJ. Welcome to the brand new video. I know we actually finished all we could, but the part 3 unfortunately does take a very long time. And the reason why is including the ending turns out, yes, I just finished it. So, because of this, I guess I could do a little unboxing videos just to do this. But before the Kids' Choice Awards airs tonight, they're doing a movie, Hotel Transylvania 4. And to everyone never saw this before, I thought I'd take you way before how did it all start and how did the 4th became most flop ending on Amazon. We'll talk about this soon when the movie came out, the 4th on Nickelodeon. Also, the 3rd one is coming up soon on Nickelodeon. Finally, they just announced that Nickelodeon's going to be airing the Hotel Transylvania 3. And to celebrate, I thought to do a movie reveal. Now, I may have watched it many times, so I do remember the story, how it all started before I begin. So before I begin this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bells, help me reach 400 subscribers by the end of this year, if not 500. And also, along the way, we got some goodies along the way. Oh yeah, and I actually got something to eat for after I was done filming. Now, I do want to do a quick update video to give you guys a little heads up, some little bad news. I tried to see PK has the flame menu, but they don't have it still. So I thought probably best to kick off one of the celebration anniversary plus the Kids' Choice Awards. I decided to go Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah, something like that. So, part 3, and yes, I went there, so just want to give you a heads up, this was take place. Anyways, so the lists I actually checked out are all done, and if you scan QR code, there's a phone poll. Turns out I actually checked out Mall America. I thought there is, and you guys are going to have to find out. Okay, but in the meantime, we'll do some goodies that we actually got during our KCA's celebration. Also, stick around tomorrow because I'm going to be doing a very special video. But until then, let's take a look at what we got, including our first unboxing video on this channel. Okay, so I think that will be it. So, let's take a look at our first one. Our first one starting off is a SpongeBob Bouncy Ball, which I tested out during this fall, and I guess we can test it now. See? Bouncy Ball. It does come with when we made slime, so I'm glad we have slime. Oh, and I actually did got a tattoo, which I can't show you yet. Oh yeah, in part 3, I met a very special guest. And I guess I can tell you, since the process still takes a long time, I met some fans people for the first time. And to the fans who actually wants to meet me, well, yes, if you guys want to meet me, you can meet me at the Mall America. I'm actually, anytime I want at Mall America for a special event. We might meet again, some fans, at the Mall America again during our 25th anniversary. And I will be coming over to celebrate the 25th anniversary. So, yeah. Anyways, so we got some goodie bags. First that we actually got is the candy, this one, followed by gummies. Of course, it's bears because SpongeBob's episode bears. Oh, and we're going to have a few surprises along the way for part 3. So, yeah. And one thing, this was the first time I decided to record this without this one. Basically, it was starting to get full, so you know I decided to do for a special thing to do. I thought to test it one time. And I really don't want to do this, but I decided to go back to doing live streams. But no, not live streams. I said to privately, because the reason why is because this is only because I'm recording for episodes. And I want to extend a little bit more. That was because I want to test out. It looks like since it's working, I don't need to set some parts anymore. So my plan is I'm going to be recording again, but it's not going to be public. It's not going to be live streams. It's just going to be regular videos. Okay? Anyways, guys, so we're going to do a little unboxing. This is the mystery one, and it's called Snippets. Okay, called SpongeBob. What the frick? I'm just saying this. And I cannot swear because we're at the mall. But anyways, well, we're not exactly. We're in the adult area, so I can swear. So yeah, what the hell is this? SpongeBob Smelly Pants, Scariest Mystery Flavor. I don't like this, and I don't like the smell. Better be good. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see, is there any swears? No, but I do want to get the SpongeBob, not Sam, because he was the most not good character. I'm going to say that. Alright. Alright. How do I open this thing? I can smell something. Okay, yeah. How do I open this thing? Did Nickelodeon just never told us how to open the SpongeBob SquarePants opening box? How do I open it? Okay. 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 Smell pants. Okay, it does smell like fish. Okay, what we got? Alright guys, so we actually got Mr. Krabs. What's wrong with Mr. Krabs? Oh, okay, it is a smell pants. It smells like fish, I'm gonna say that. Okay. Yeah, that smells like fish. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with this design. I will say the design looks good. It's just, they should add a white to it, unfortunately. I can fix that later on. But for now, I will say, I don't like the smell. Smell pants. I don't know why. I don't like it. Sorry. Okay, I guess you're seeing this. Yeah, basically, I actually got a tattoo after I was on the way. So you might see that during my video for part 3. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so before we begin, there will be some spoilers, so you have been warned. So for the part 1, part 2, let's begin the story. So this movie takes place a while back. It all started back in 2011 when Sony Pictures was the best movie of all time still, before this year's been BS. 2010s, aka 2010's been the most greatest year ever. There were some loopholes then. Some of them were great, some of them okay, some of them even worse. But some of them were fantastic years, such as 2017, which has been the most greatest year ever. It was the closer to year of Animations Round 2. The reason why I'm saying this, because Toonami was the hit success of the return of Dragon Ball. It was the year of Dragon Ball, or should I say Toonami returns for OGs. And I was very excited for some of them to return because of reasons. So yeah, I'm glad that they're back in action. Okay, but let's just get to the point. Hold up. Seriously. Okay, now you have been warned. Let's talk about the first one. So, it all started with an interesting beginning movie with her. Yes, her. I think before that we know this, she had, we know the story happened here when the Dracula got blah, yeah, basically it started happening here. But then he has a baby? That's one thing I'm surprised. That, like, father, like daughter. After this, he got a little bit older, and then after he learns how to fly, that's one thing. We introduce him. Basically, after he explains about the hotel, she became 16 years old, and Dracula he's afraid she doesn't want to lose his daughter, and he's afraid about the real world. So, what happens? He decides to lie his daughter, and tell him about it's dangerous. So, after this, well, there was the same thing back in the old ancient days when monsters happened here. So, yeah, and then after this, her daughter was 16. She wants to discover free will, but Dracula does not. And then when she was ready, it's about time. So he thought, okay. But to lie, unfortunately. So, basically after this, he finally got away, and she was afraid. And she wants to stay at a hotel forever. And that's what he did. Success. Until he met him. Or reference to Quantum me. Because, now, basically, in the Hotel Transylvania, when I was a kid, I got quite confused what this movie is. And he said, "Who are you? How did you got my hotel?" "Oh, I'm Jonathan." And basically, that reference to my name. Say, "Hey, I'm Jonathan." You know, because, let me explain the reason why. He's kind of just like me. Like, he goes on vacations. He goes to find some mystery things. Well, sort of. But most importantly, he makes YouTube videos. Well, not exactly, but he does show, like, smartphones. So it's kind of like some reference to mine, but different. I did not notice when I was a kid, but I got older, I understand now. And then that's why Jonathan of Hotel Transylvania was my most favorite character. And in the fourth sequel, we focus on these two together. And we'll talk about that fourth after Nickelodeon airs. Again, when Nickelodeon airs on the 27th, we'll talk about these two climate duels and see how this happened, the fourth one. But for now, back to the Hotel Transylvania 1 that we need to talk about this. After this, basically, he was worried about the truth was gonna come out. So he has to find a way of making sure he escaped with that human person guy, whatever case. So the only way is to disguise, and thank goodness. So he said, "Cool, the costumes." And Drago said, "Costumes." And he said, "Oh, wait, I need his backpack. Your backpack will stay." Now then. Basically happened here, and then after this, something surprise happened with Jonathan. He thought there were costumes. Nope, the monsters were real this time. He was frightful. Then he believes that his father is this one. And then, when Herb became with his thing, we knew there's something was up with these two. Boyfriend and girlfriend. That started shipping things. Then after things happen here, well, he wants to stick around. So he did, but Drago doesn't want to because it happened here. And that caused some a little bit chaotic at the beginning, but he made it interesting. First, a guitar was one thing with success. Bingo game was good. Pool was nice. And then he tried to do hypnotize, which it failed. And the reason why, because he had eye contact. And then he threatened the one little hotel. He said, no, enough! You listen here. And I can't explain what the details is because I'm having here. But then he did threaten what happens. And then he said, now be gone. So after this, he was so angry. But then she met her. And then things were starting to get romance until falling down. And Drago was not that... Sorry. And then he was not that happy. Then he said, you know what? Fine. Then you'll do the chairs and I'll just take whoever it case, party pooper. And then he knows he agrees with his boyfriend girlfriend having here. After this, things were going to be interesting until finally the Jewels finally have fun playing the chair chase thing. And he thought that was fun until the chef kidnapped the human. And to everyone, don't think this is actually weird that happened here. This was just the movie, okay? Animation movies, okay? Hopefully you understand. After this, things were gonna get interesting until he actually find a way to get the Draco. Knights began versus Goblins. Yeah, things were interesting. And then after this, he was about to cook him until Draco saved him. And he believes he's a monster who's not. Because they smell human. Don't think it's weird. And then Drago had enough of the chef, and it makes sense. I'm going to say one thing, and I do want to say one thing. The chef was actually one of the villains. He was in it. So, and Drago was the hero. Then after this, before that, he wants to show something about why he hates humans so much. And discover the truth. So, he remembers the story, how it all started, and I did remember too. Then, he told the story happened here when Love won. Then, after this, Drago was saying, the legend is not true. Because she was my wife. And then he pulled the curtain, and then he told exactly the same story what happened here. And he was just trying to be kindness. And that's caused the humans' trust doesn't come monsters. It's kind of like reference to Universal Monsters reference, something like that. And I think that's why I think Sony and I think that's where Sony did something a little interesting. That makes sense. After this, then things were getting very interesting. This one, after he told Dracula about the truth, Jonathan understands now, and he was about to leave, but he said, "No, no, no, you can stay." He wants to feel proud of his daughter. Things were doing good, and until she was about to kiss the person, and Dracula was starting to get a little upset for reasons, and that would cause some jealous things. And then Davis and her started fighting Dad, and then he told him to snap the troop out. And then he lied. And then things were not going to get any worse until did. After this, the ship was still alive, unfortunately. I don't know how, basically. I was been wondering myself. A little fun fact. Even still frozen, his mouth jaw still continued talking like this. Yeah, it's kind of weird. That is one thing I was surprised. Then, he can't speak English, but then the fly man knows about it, and he explained the truth about what happened. Then, after this, the disguise wore off, and it was too late. The reveal came out for humans, and monsters very frightful for this time. After this, Davies and Jonathan understands, but the Dracula was very shocked. So, he knows what he had to do. Before he leave, he had to tell him to make sure to stay away. And Davies was not that happy news. And then this caused major problem here for happening here. After this, well, Dracula and her daughter actually explained what happened here. Basically, she's sane. Like, I'm not just surprised, that's one thing. First up. Like, girlfriend, boyfriend? Yeah. Dracula was very shocked that he did not know this. And then, after this, he understands now. He made one little mistake, and he's going to fix it. After this, before all the monsters were going to return to their houses and everything, Dracula made a little discovery truth why he was trying to keep the humans and try to keep the human. But then he told more thing about it, and then he understand. So her friends were trying to find a way to get Jonathan back before the flight takes off. And his shirt was the one thing. Before that, he was going to let the wolf to smell, and don't think it's weird again twice, and that caused some major problems here. And that was the reason the rest of the story. Until after this, before that, he was afraid that he's going to have to enter the human world, and he has no choice. That's the only way to options. After this, he was very surprised that humans were a little different this time, back in the old age. And he was. After this, humans understand that monsters were nice. And he thought that was a disguise, but now it became nice. And Dracula was so happy that he's trying to do something. This was one thing I was very surprised for this time. Like, humans and monsters together? That's one thing I was very surprised. And then after this, well, things were going better. And then, well, Jonathan apologized at the end. Well, Dracula apologized to Jonathan at the end. And things were doing good. He still had to control the beast, the monster inside him. But he understands. After this, he got married. Things were going better. And now, the sequel continues in part 2. So you have in 1. When we left up in the first sequel, after the honeymoon, things were getting interesting. Then, after this, well, the journey continues with the loved one when it happened here. Then, I think I remember this part. I think the same happened here. After a couple months, I think Davies was getting pregnant. And we introduced a new character, his son. First, Dracula was very excited to be his grandpa, which I'm impressed. After this, we introduced Jonathan, but different, a son, his. After this, things were quite interesting with the parties and everything. When Davies, I think he was 7, or I'm not sure. She was very excited too until she broke his first tooth, which I think she had his first tooth. And Drago was very shocked that her girlfriend and boyfriend was going to move away. And Draga did not know it's because of Jonathan's one little tiny mistake. So Jonathan got his punishment. Buried this one. Then he has to find a way how he can stay at the hotel. And there's only one option. The only solution is to become a vampire. So he took his son and things. Before the story was continued, everything was starting to change ever since there. Humans and monsters were together for the first time, and Draga doesn't know about technologies. So Jonathan introduced a new phone, which he gave to Draga, and he doesn't know how to because because the reason why, because his finger claws. Which is why I think need to listen to everyone. If your fingers are too big, like claws are too big, maybe find a way to do that. I'm not sure. He's trying to figure out a phone. Anyway, moving on for that. Ever since the humans and monsters finally joined, the hotel became the most popular thing. That started because of reasons. Okay? After this, well, things were interesting. Mavis? Yeah, Mavis. Now I remember. Mavis and Jonathan was preparing. Before he was taken to San Davies. I didn't now remember. Mavis, yes. Sorry, I just got a confusion. Mavis for the first movie. The second one, yes. After this, he'd take care of his babysitter, his grandfather, and her parents were going to go on a vacation and take him around places. So Jonathan and Mavis actually went on doing something fun stuff when Draga tried to find a way, and things didn't work out expected. The mummy, Frankenstein, and the wolf didn't work out exactly, so he tried one last step to add final touch, or the blob, I'm not sure. He tried to do the Camdenstein, which totally failed this one. But then Mavis found a way what's going on here, and then he found some interesting news. After this, he was also shocked his grandfather was coming over. His great-great-grandfather was coming over to the hotel, which he was very shocked. He was worried about that human and monsters would never get along. Things were getting interesting until finally, after this, well, Mavis actually went back to the hotel, and then Draga was telling the truth until YouTube happened. Yeah, I didn't expect that. And whoever posts that, yeah, Draga is not that happy. And he got screwed. But then he apologized, and he'll make up for it. So he had a birthday party, but the problem is, Mavis was worried about his grandfather doesn't believe in monsters and humans. So because of this, he has to find a way. So he brought the humans to the hotel, but he has to bring the disguise. So he did disguise, and Jonathan had to disguise again, but this time as a vampire for real. Then his great-great-grandfather came, and things were doing good until he found a way how to unleash the monster kid. But then Draga saw her side kid. He was worried. He was getting scared. So he just gave up. Okay, he doesn't want to be a vampire. So he's fine. That's her decision. That's him decision. Then Jonathan, Draga, and Mavis, she was not happy also about that Jonathan was alone all this time. And basically he told Jonathan he's not a monster. That caused big problems. Then the battle begins or something like that, and things were going to do. Until he was so more shocked that his father believed that his son betrayed because of that. But he explained. Things were getting more argument until his son, Jonathan's, and Mavis' son, aka Davies, was lost. But he took him to the treehouse. And the battle begins, and then he transforms. So, yeah, things were getting interesting. Well, I do want to continue this story, but looks like it is a to be continued. So, stay tuned for that. So, we'll be right back.